Okay.
Well, hello, Denise. Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Lammy with Lisa Lammy Art, and this is my YouTube channel. I had decided some time ago that I wanted to do a YouTube channel focusing on a lot of local artists and other artists that I've met along the way that are just doing incredible things in their sphere of skill, if that makes sense. Sphere of skill. Say that a few times fast. So today I wanted to bring in Denise Dion. Denise Dion is a lady that I used to work with when I worked for the city of Edmonton. But Denise to me was known not so much by her job at the city, but she is just an incredible crafter. She's the owner and crocheter for EIEIO Crafts. And when I say that, Denise, I feel like I'm going to start singing a song.
Go ahead.
You know, she's been making these incredible crocheted animals and characters and creatures for the last 7 years. And she's been selling them at local farmers markets in the St. Albert Farmers Market, which for those of you who might be watching, you may not even know where St. Albert is. It is in Alberta, Canada. And she has done incredible work there. And her products range from Pokemon to Minions to Star Wars, Squid Game characters, avocado buddies and bunnies to goats and llamas, like you name it, she's got it. And it really does appeal to kids, teens, and adults. And I can vouch for that because I saw a certain turtle on her Instagram feed that I knew I just had to have. So I acquired that. Really, her creations just delight everyone. And she is always on the lookout for some new ideas, cute and cuddly ideas to bring with her to the market. And I wanted to bring Denise in because I think she has such a wealth of knowledge as it relates to marketing her wares and attending all these different markets. I wanted to first ask you, Denise, at what point did you realize that this is going to be more than just a hobby and that you could actually make some money doing this?
Well, it started when people started asking me for things. Because like any crochet person, I started doing dishcloths and I started with blankets and then scarves and hats and things like that. But then I started making little characters. And that's when things started getting a little crazy. Like, can you make this? Can you make that? And I'm like, I don't know. Let's try. Sure. So it just sort of got out of control.
That must have been so satisfying.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of and fun. It was challenging and fun because I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue.
So you're just like learning along the way. Because I think what I've found so startling, like, it's just the volume of these creatures that you can produce. Yeah. Like, are you up till the wee hours crocheting, or like, how do you do this? How do you accomplish all this?
Yeah, well, because I still have a full-time job.
Yes, I know.
So, and somehow last year I sold about 400 items.
Oh, wow.
Just in what, 16 weeks or something like that, like not a long period of time. So yeah, there are times I'm up at 2:00 in the morning and I'm working away, and I work until it's time to go to work, and then I work, and then I go back to work. So yeah, I do tend to run the clock.
Now, in saying that, you obviously still love doing it.
Yeah.
There's one thing I wanted to bring up with you was what I've already started to experience and had been forewarned by some other artists that I've been in touch with in the US, but you always think, well, that's not going to happen to me, is at times feeling burnt out. Because what I didn't realize was, like, I'm creating a digital course and some other things, learning all the tech and all these different platforms. Your brain has only so much capacity to take on all the stuff. And instead of, like, I left my 9 to 5, but now I'm working 24/7. How do you avoid feeling burnt out at times? Like, what do you do when you feel like, okay, I think I need to pause and like just do something else? Or do you not feel that?
Yeah, absolutely. Burnout happens. And it's really, like, I found it's really important that when I feel that I can't do one stitch today, I can't even do I can't even look at yarn.
Yeah.
Um, it's time to step away for a little while, and it's okay to do that, and it's important to do that. And whether that's, I don't know, take a nap, go for a walk, visit with friends,
Yeah.
change up the routine that is has got you stuck. Change it up just a little, even for a little while, and it'll come back again. But you just have to honor that with yourself, because if there's no you, there's no product, because you
Exactly.
are your product.
Exactly. Now,
So
have you ever also encountered, and I think if you don't, that would mean you're maybe not human. All of us have imposter syndrome. How do you deal with imposter syndrome when you go, oh, I should be further ahead? And I find I'm doing that. I should be further ahead than I am, or this person is doing this, I should be doing this, like the shiny object syndrome. Or do you have a lot of self-awareness where that doesn't happen to you?
to me, that doesn't happen, because I think
Okay.
we're all on different paths. And even if we're doing the same type of work, we're doing it slightly differently, and that's okay. I'm I get asked all the time, do you have an Etsy page? Do you have this? Do you have that? And I'm like, no, you know what? I am happy where I'm at right now, because I know I can manage it. And I know that um, I'm not going to be a complete basket case, because it, it can happen, and it can
Yeah.
happen quickly. So I know my limits and my capacity, and I'm very conscious of not spreading myself too thin where I can't produce anymore. Um, my fear is always that I don't have enough product. So it's funny that you say that I do so much. And it's because I have a fear that I don't have enough, or I don't have the right things. So
Yeah.
my fears are sort of different, because I'm like, am I keeping up with the trends? Am I keeping up with what kids are into right now? Am I keeping up with, like, oh, I have my own set of fears. I
But
have
you know
my own.
what? This is all really good information. Like what I was also thinking of too is we all tend to learn from our mistakes. Like we're all going to have some epic fails along
Thank
this
you.
journey. Like it's not going to be a smooth path. It certainly hasn't been for me. What is something that you have, even in the last year, that it was a mistake that was made that you have got so much value out of and have grown as a result? Is there anything that you can think of?
Well, it actually just happened recently, and it was, people ask me not only for things that I make, but things that I don't make.
Of
So
course.
they ask for custom ordered stuff.
Yeah.
I want um, a tiger, but without stripes, and I want it with this, and I want it like, they're very specific. And once we get, it just happened recently. And once we got down to the final, okay, this is what you want. And she said, how much? So I gave a price. And she came back with like the lowest ball offer. And I said, no, I can't. I can't do it. And I kept with, I'm proud of myself. I kept with, no, this is the price. So
I'm
then she came
proud of
back.
you.
Thank you.
I'm
And then
proud of you. Yeah.
then she came back with a slightly higher price. And I went, no, the price is the price. And then I went and checked in with a friend of mine who's a big marketer
Yeah.
in the States. And he said, you don't have to take on every client.
Exactly.
And they'll probably not be happy with the product anyway, and then badmouth you for it. So you don't have to take on everybody. It's okay to say no.
You know what? I am so glad you brought this up because I've had similar experiences, and I've just had to go, stand my ground.
Mhm.
This is the price. It's because of the supplies, because there is just not that appreciation of the time, the effort, and all the supplies that go into it. They may admire your work, and that's wonderful. But have you ever had a situation where you did take on a commission, a work, and then they backed out? Have you had that happen, or do you ask for deposits?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Where they've asked for something and they're like, oh, I really want this. And can you make it? And like up until 2 in the morning making it. And the next week, no show, no dice. Next week, same thing, no show. Like, and then you're stuck with the item, whatever it is. And I'm like, oh, lesson learned.
Yeah.
Get at least half up front
Okay.
for custom stuff. Don't, because then they're committed just as much as you're committed.
They have to have some skin in the game, like,
They have
money.
to have
Yeah.
skin in the game, and with them, it's going to be money. That's what the change is. But oh yeah, it happened to me quite a few times. Quite a few times.
And it's those painful lessons.
Yeah.
They stick with you. But I'm glad to hear that, like, you've kind of resolved it yourself, and then the good advice from this person that you talked to, saying that you do not have to take on all those commissions. I think you needed to have that reinforced.
I did. And I
Yeah.
had it right away. I had that conversation right away. Like, he happens to be an online guy, so he was online, and I'm like, this just happened to me. What do I do? And he's like, you don't have to take on everybody.
So you talked about marketing, that like you don't have an Etsy shop,
Nope.
not really planning on one.
Nope.
What would you advise for someone, whether it is doing what you're doing, or like, let's say, selling jewelry or something else? What kind of marketing efforts should they do? Should they worry about a business card? Should they worry about having a Instagram presence? What at minimum do you think would get them, some of that exposure? Because yours is largely word of mouth, I would think, in your Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I started at small little farmers markets in local communities where it was literally $10 for a table for the weekend, for a day, which is really cheap marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, hello, $10. You're there all day and you learn, like, talk to other vendors too, like get to know other artists, get to know your neighbors, and they have lived and learned, so learn from them. So I started small, and anybody can start small. Like, there's community leagues that have little markets. Start small and start learning. But at minimum, yeah, have a business card. Mine were from just a company. It didn't have a logo. It just had my name. It just had a phone number. It had nothing on it. But start with something. Have a way of payment. Have some way for people to pay you, not just cash, because cash is nice. But during COVID, we learned a lot of people didn't want to deal with cash. So they wanted to pay with their card. So have a way for people to pay you, because it's important to get paid. You may have to buy a table.
Yeah.
But look on Kijiji, look on Facebook Marketplace, look on where people may have the item that you need, like that 6-foot folding table.
Yeah.
Go find it cheap. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't have to go crazy. You might need a tent. Now, my advice, spend money on the tent. Do not get a cheap tent, because the winds here in Alberta will knock you out. I don't care how much weight you have on it. I have seen tents collapse. So
I didn't realize that you have to invest in your own tent. That's not supplied at these shows.
That's not supplied when you do farmers markets and they're outside. So if you don't want to put money into a tent, do the indoor markets. There's several indoor markets around town.
Yeah.
So like there's ways of doing it that you can do it and test out how it's going to go for you, but don't think that's how it's going to end. Like,
Yeah.
this is the biggest I'm ever going to get, is this small little market. No, it's not. But learn some lessons, but learn them. Don't spend a lot of money to learn them. You know, try not to do what I did. And, you know, like, you invest a whole lot of money and then, like, in the past, and nothing comes of it, right?
Yeah.
Just start small. It's okay.
So, you know what, Denise, I think we've covered a lot of ground, but what I really want to get to is you've got some company in that room.
I do.
And I would love if you could
do.
share, maybe if you could share just a quick little story about just a few items that
Sure.
like maybe your best sellers, or you know what it is that you're looking for in an item. I know you said that you look at stuff that might be trending, etc., to help inform, but yeah, just share with us if you could,
Yeah.
just some of what you've got there.
I have Baby Yoda, biggest seller, Baby Yoda. And I have him in so many. That's again a trend that happened, what, 3-4 years ago, that there was no Baby Yoda until like 4 years ago. So he happened, and I have so many different sizes. I just sell tons of Baby Yodas.
Wow. Yeah.
See, I even have a little keychain version. uh there's Minions. These are new. Minions are new. I have Deadpool. Now I couldn't find a, like, there are tons of really great crocheters out there, and there's great creators out there, and bless their hearts, they post their patterns. Some are free, some are paid. And I could not find a Deadpool pattern that I liked. So I made it.
Oh
So
my
I just
goodness.
made it. And then now people are asking for the pattern. So now I'm going to have to write it out and sell the pattern. Like, it's, see how things grow, whether you don't anticipate them to grow.
That's
Same thing.
That's incredible.
Same thing with Spider-Man. No pattern, had to make it myself. Like, and that's okay. Like, who
You
knew?
do realize that that's a talent, because there are those of us who never mastered crochet, let alone pattern making. So that's incredible. So you really playing those skills.
That's the next step, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea, but it takes me in different directions. So I just follow along.
Oh, wow. So you, like, depending on when this YouTube video gets out into the world, you do have a lot of events that happen throughout the year. Could you tell me about a couple that are coming up here fairly shortly?
I'm really, really honored that the St. Albert Chamber asked me to be one of 20 vendors for the St. Albert Children's Fair, which is a 4-day event for kids, targeted at kids, everything from face painting to pajama parties. And then they have like just 20 vendors, and I'm going to be one of those. So I'm going to have my stuff there on June 4th and 5th from 9:30 till 3:30. And then after that, starting the St. Albert Summer Market, which will start on June 11th. And I'm there every other week. Again, for me, I can't do every weekend. It's too hard to keep up with how much I sell. So, and work a full-time job. So I do every other week until the end of, like, for me, I ended in September. So again, you can pick and choose with markets, when to start, when to end, how many to do.
Yeah.
So that's what I do to keep my sanity.
And Christmas, I'm assuming, is huge for you.
Christmas is huge.
When do you start planning for stock? Like, at what point do you have to get going so you have enough stock?
As soon as the summer market ends. As soon as the summer market ends, I'm right into Christmas, because that's September. The markets end in September. Actually, they end in October, but I end in September.
Yeah. And
the Christmas markets start at the end of November. So that's not a whole lot of time. No. So I work like a demon being chased, you know, like to try to get ready for Christmas. Oh, wow.
So all the places that people could get a hold of you, I don't know if you have a website. I do know you have a presence on Instagram. They can
I'm
find
on
you there?
Instagram. I don't have a website because I keep creating new things. So it's hard to keep up with a website and create at the same time. I haven't quite mastered that. So I just use Instagram because it's so convenient and people can see you, like they know where you're at. So I have that, and you can email me at EIEIO Crafts at
Which is what I
Gmail.
was going to ask, is how can people get in touch with you? So
Yep,
those would be the,
yep. EIEIO Crafts at gmail.com, and you'll get a reply message from both my grandmas, even though they are no longer with us, but
oh,
I sign it with their names.
oh, I
I
see.
haven't, and sign it with, I'll be right back to you,
Yeah.
and sign it from my grandmas because they're the ones who taught me in the first place.
Oh, wow. You know what? We could literally talk for hours.
Yes, we could.
And I will probably have you back for a round two to find out how some of these festivals went. You have provided us with so much information. Denise Dion, I'm glad to call you friend, and I'm so happy that you're having the success that you are. I want you to take care of yourself and not stay up till 2 a.m. But I know that that's something that you're doing just to satisfy your clients. So anyway, thank you so much for this opportunity. And if anybody's interested in reaching out to Denise, now you know how to do it.
Yeah, well, thank you, and I appreciate it, and hope to talk soon.
Okay. Okay. Bye.
Bye.